Welcome back to Align by Design, the podcast where we explore what it really means to live in alignment with who you are and to trust the deeper whispers of your soul. I'm Flavie, and today I'm sharing one of the most personal and transformative stories of my life. And I want to start with that question. Have you ever faced a moment where someone told you that what you dreamed of, hoped for, and planned for was impossible? And yet, deep down, something inside of you refused to believe it. This is a story of how I turned impossible into I am possible. It's an emotional story. It's a story of heartbreak, resilience, and above all, trust. Trust in my body, my intuition, and my soul's unshakable knowing that I was meant for something greater. This episode is a reminder that the rules we have been taught don't always have to define us. And I'm sharing this because I know so many of you might be navigating your own version of impossible right now. So let me take you back to when I was 28. I had gone to see my gynecologist because my periods had always been painful. So painful, they felt like an ordeal. I thought this was just normal. Every cycle left me exhausted, both physically and emotionally. But during one appointment, she suggested that I take further tests. I didn't think much of it at first, but appointment after appointment, the truth began to unfold. At 28 years old, I was told that I was in early menopause. Me, the girl who had always dreamed of becoming a mother. The girl who had imagined family dinners, bedtime stories, and watching her children grow. Suddenly, in just a few words, that dream was slipping away. And I will never forget the radiologist who delivered the news. I was there, laying on the table, exposed and vulnerable, and he left the room with the door wide open, leaving me half naked and completely humiliated. Then he came back, barely looking at me, handed the result to his assistant and said to me, "You're lucky you came now. In a year, it would have been too late." I remember sitting there, stunned. What did he just say? As I walked out of the clinic, the weight of his words finally hit me. I burst into tears on the street, calling my boyfriend of 8 years. My mind was racing. What would he think? Would he abandon me because I couldn't give him the family we had imagined? What did too late even mean? The roller coaster continued as my gynecologist tried to reassure me. "Don't worry," she said. "A pill, a date, a time, and you will get pregnant." Honestly, this was not how I envisioned bringing life into the world. This was not the story I wanted to write. So I underwent more tests. One so painful, I fainted. They hadn't warned me about the pain because, as the nurse admitted, if we told you, no one would do it. True, I would not have done it. And then came the final blow. My ovaries were functioning like those of a 45-year-old woman. And I was not even eligible for IVF. I had two options: artificial insemination or relying on someone else's eggs. I cried. I cried until I couldn't cry anymore. I felt betrayed by my own body and I questioned everything. Why me? Why now? I felt like my world was crumbling. But somewhere, through the tears, there was something deep inside me, a small but unshakable belief. I felt a quiet, unshakable whisper. You will be a mother. I don't know how, but you will. And I trusted my body, even when the science did not. And that whisper became my lifeline. I started praying, even if I'm not religious. I turned to fertility yoga. I began working on my faith, cultivating absolute certainty that my body was capable of miracles. Until one day, when one of my closest friends introduced me to an acupuncturist, traditional Chinese doctor with years of experience. Initially, I was skeptical, but something inside me said, why not try, It cannot be worse than the situation you're in today. And then, after just 4 sessions, something shifted. My period was late. My lower belly felt different. Firmer somehow. I waited a week and I took a test. And it was positive. I was pregnant. Against all odds, my body did what science told me it could not. And 9 months later, I gave birth to my daughter. A miracle I will never forget. Even my gynecologist at the time told me, how is that just even possible? This is a true miracle. But the story doesn't end here. 2 years later, I lost my grandmother. A profound loss for me. And yet, just a few months after her passing, I discovered I was pregnant again. A departure for a new arrival. This time it was a boy. My boy was born with a very rare condition. And those first 9 months of his life were some of the hardest I ever faced. And I told myself I could not grow through it again. And I decided to say I would not have a third kid. And in between, I've been diagnosed with endometriosis. But life had other plans. Years later, at 39, I found myself pregnant again. Completely naturally, completely unexpectedly. I could not believe it. I needed 2 weeks to realize that I was pregnant because my entire life I heard my mom, my grandma say that women in our family face early menopause because they had uterine cancers. They had all entered menopause in their early 40s. But me? Once again, I broke the rules and I delivered another boy 2 weeks after my 40th birthday. 3 children, all conceived naturally. 3 children, no IVF. Me, the girl who was told she could not have any, now had 3 children. Transitions and challenge in life often come with labels: impossible, unlikely, unrealistic. But what if we choose not to accept those labels? What if we decide to rewrite the narrative and trust in our inner knowing? Because here is the truth. Impossible is just a word. It's not a final verdict. I heard the verdict of the doctor. I did not accept it. So why am I sharing this story with you? Because sometimes what the word tells you is impossible is not the final word. Sometimes your body, your intuition, and your belief in yourself can defy the odds. But turning the impossible into impossible requires more than hope. It requires listening to yourself, trusting your intuition, and stepping forward even when the path seems uncertain. So here is what I've learned through this journey. First, you need to listen to your intuition. Your intuition is your greatest guide. Even when the word told me my body could not, I felt a quiet knowing deep inside, I can, I will. Trust that inner voice. It's there for a reason. Second, your body is wiser than you think. Modern medicine has its limit, but your body holds an intelligence that science can't always explain. Honor it, support it, believe in it, and take care of it. Third, faith and action must work together. Faith is not passive. It's about believing in something greater while taking intentional steps forward. Whether it was prayer, yoga, acupuncture, I did not just hope, I acted. Fourth, the rules don't define you. Just because it has always been the way in your family, your career, or your life doesn't mean it has to be that way for you. You have the power to break the patterns and rewrite your story. So do it. 5. Let go of timelines. Life, though, doesn't always unfold on the schedule we imagine. Sometimes the greatest blessings come when we least expect them. Trust in the divine timing of your journey. And here is what I want you to take away. Your story is not over. No matter what challenges you face, there is always a way forward. It may not look like you expected, but it can still be beautiful. The impossible is not a final destination. It's an invitation to grow, to trust, and to step into your power. And when someone tells you something is impossible, remember, they're speaking on their own limitation, not yours. Your journey is unique and your possibilities are infinite. So as we close, I want to leave you with some questions to reflect on. What have you been told is impossible in your life? How can you reconnect with your intuition to find your own path forward? And what's one small step you can take today to rewrite the story you've been told? Take the time to reflect on these questions, write about them, sit with them, journal with them, and remember, you are capable of more than you've been led to believe. You are capable of more than you've been told to believe. So thank you for joining me today. If this episode resonates with you, I would love you to let me know with a like or a comment. And if you want to share it with someone who might need this message, just do it. And together, let's inspire more women to trust themselves, follow the path, and turn the impossible into impossible. And until next time, stay true, stay aligned, and keep evolving.